I'm Bill Skripchek, president of Waverider Trading Technologies. The FX Morning Mayhem podcast is an essential listen for currency traders. Each episode covers a curated watch list of key currency pairs, alongside insightful market observations. It highlights crucial daily news events that could influence the market, ensuring traders are well informed. Additionally, the podcast offers valuable trading strategy tips, catering to both new and experienced traders in the Forex market. This podcast is for educational purposes only. None of this info should be construed as investment advice. To see the trades called out live on our Slack channel, click the link in the description or scan the QR code to join the trade faction. And now on with the show.
Okay, so we just had an alert fire off. We'll take a look at that in a second. So I was busy yesterday because there's a thing that's been bugging me about how I wrote this code. So when you get the inception signal, what it's identifying is really not the actual spot to take the trade, but the zone in which to take the trade. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So what I ended up doing was I renamed the sweet spot the sweet zone. Okay. And then I spent a lot of time doing a lot of math, and I figured out probably the closest as I can get based on the data that the AI poops out, what the actual sweet spot is. And here are the results. Dots. So I have these dots, and obviously the red dots are for where you should go short, and the green dots are where you should go long within the sweet zone. Okay. As an example, the trade that I took yesterday was right here. I went short right there, and then I targeted an algo trigger. I believe it was this one as my profit target, and that worked out beautifully. Okay. Now, like anything, they're not going to work 100% of the time, but at least now, once it's in the sweet zone, I can then alert people to, I can actually set an alert that will fire when something happens, when a sweet spot emerges. The code is a complete mess, disaster, teenager's bedroom. So I'm going to have to spend the break refactoring that and making it compliant, best practices, and all that good shit.
Sure.
But it works, so I'm pretty happy with that. And I was able to crank that out pretty fast. So that's what's going on here.
Gotcha.
All right, so EuroCAD right now is in a sweet zone. And I have just finished doing a trade that was profitable, so that was cool. All right, so let's look at the next one. Pound CAD is not in the sweet zone. It is in an uptrend, and the wave phase is set up for a long, but you wouldn't want to do anything right at this moment with that one. New Zealand USD is in a sweet zone. It's in a downtrend. The phase of the wave is short, so all I'm waiting for is for a red dot to appear here somewhere. So maybe I'll set an alert on this and see what happens. But that would be the best time to get in it. My guesstimate is that it's going to appear somewhere in this area because there's a little bit of a consolidation there. All right. Singapore dollar and Swissy franc not in a sweet zone, downtrend, short phase of the wave, nothing to do here. US dollar, Canadian dollar, long trend, upward trend. Wave is in the look for a long phase, but we are not in the sweet zone, so nothing to do there. USD Chief, I think this is the one that just fired off. So this one is in the sweet zone, It is trending up. The wave phase is looking for looking for a green dot to show up here. So I'm going to set alerts on those two. So that if
Okay.
you see something pop into the special operator channel, that's what those are all about. Those would just indicate that probably a good time to take those two trades. So that's that, seems like. Um, we have a final services PMI and an ISM services PMI, respectively at 8:45 and 9 a.m. this morning. Crude oil at 9:30. And then the Fed chair, U.S. Fed chair is talking at 12:45. So keep your ears peeled for that later on today. I'll set an alert for that 9 a.m. news. I think that's probably the most important of the morning.
Mm.
So there's this dude, his name is Steven Gerson. Have you ever heard of him?
No, name doesn't really ring a bell.
He is a venture capitalist. He's the founder of Future Ventures. So he was the guy who put the money behind Skype, SpaceX, Tesla, Zoox, and Boring Company. So
Okay.
apparently he must be a Elon buddy of some sort.
Mhm.
Two of those are Elon companies. Anyway, he was talking about the transition of computing. Well, I'm going super nerd on you today, but
No.
you appreciate nerd things. So he was talking about the transition of compute technology from GPU-based technology to ASIC-based technology. For those of you lay people, that means going from a very generalized processor to a very specific type of processing compute architecture.
Mhm.
The easiest way to understand this is Intel has been the manufacturer of GPU type tech for as long as I've been alive.
Mhm.
And the ASIC stuff is relatively new, and that was being manufactured by NVIDIA originally for high performance graphics cards like my kids wanted for their games. And now those processors are being used exclusively for neural networks and artificial intelligence specifically. Okay. So, anyway, he made some forecasts. One of the things he said was custom ASIC chips and future analog and memory compute technologies offer even closer biomimicry of the human brain, further advancing AI capabilities. I like that word, biomimicry.
Hmm.
Moore's law is expected to persist for at least another 20 years, enabling continued cost reductions in computational power and storage. He made this chart that's really interesting. It's 128 years of Moore's law with little dots on it, going back all the way to, holy crap, pre-computers,
Hmm.
the 1900s. And then let's see, I kick in here somewhere around the 50s. So that's all the big mainframe computers. Oh, look at that. Here's all my old companies, Apple Computers, Sun Microsystems, DEC PDP-11s. Remember those, Dave? And then we get into the Dell stuff. And then 2005-ish, we get into the GTX series. And now in the 2020s, we're into the Tesla Dojo, Colossus. That's the big monster AI
Mhm.
array that Musk is building. So yeah, so that's where we're at. But the thing that caught my attention about this whole article is that the graph covers a, let's call it X improvement in computation from beginning to end. What X is, I don't even know because I didn't look it up, but it's a 1 with 21 zeros. But that is the number, that is the factor of improvement from the 1900s to today in compute technology. And he's saying we still got a good 20 years left in the tank. So I thought that was pretty interesting. It seemed like when I was in my 20s and 30s, shit was happening like every week. And then for the last 20 years, it seemed like hardly anything was happening. Oh, we put a little better camera on the iPhone. Oh, we
Hmm.
added an extra CPU to this cluster and blah, 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 blah. That was about it. That's what that's all about. How about that,
Yeah.
huh? Pretty nerdy
That
out?
sounds pretty good. Yeah, no, there was one other area the async stuff was actually working.
Yeah.
Back in the day when you could mine Bitcoin and Ethereum, they used async chips to literally do that process.
Oh, that's right. I forgot all about that. Very interesting. Cool.
So yeah, miners were basically all async chips. Ant miner, that was one of the big mining rigs that you could put together.
Cool.
All right.
Have a good trading day and good luck.